Welcome to PRV Iyer Laya Academy of Music and Mathematics. Welcome to PRV Iyer Laya Academy of Music and Mathematics. Last class we saw Thati Dumnama FD structure panni crescendo ascending and descending pannalan. So let us look at it in a much in a different form. But tha, tha, di, di, dum, dum, nam, nam அப்படின்னு சொன்னேன்னா ரெண்டாவது ஃப்ரேஸ். அது ரெண்டாவது தாலாம் மனசில் வச்சுக்கோங்க. என்ன ஆகுதுன்னு பார்க்கலாமா? தா, தி, dum, nam, ta, ti, dum, nam, tati, dum, nam, tati, dum, nam, tati, dum, nam, ta. என்ன ஆகுது? மைண்டில் கான்சன்ட்ரேஷனாக ரெண்டாவது சிலபில் வைக்கிறதுக்கூடிய கார்வே அப்படிங்கிறதுனா there is a gap between the first and the second syllable. அந்த கேப் எப்படி பண்ணுறோங்கிறத I am trying to explain. சின்ன வயசுலேயே தெரிஞ்சுக்கணும் எப்படி because advanced lessonல you might get what a carvai means, you will understand better. In likewise, when I teach 3 times, when you're repeating ta, di, dum, nam, ta, di, dum, nam, ta. இது ரொம்ப கான்சென்ட்ரேஷன் வேணும். பார்க்கறச்ச சிம்பிளாக இருக்கிற மாதிரி இருக்கு. 3 தடவை தா 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 தி தி தின்னு சொல்லிட்டு வந்துடலாம். பட் 3 தடவை சொல்றச்ச ரெண்டாவது 2 சைலண்டாக வரபோது கார்வையாக ஆகுது. It becomes a gap. So that you need to meditate and practice. That is the next level of degree of difficulty for the student to improve their skills of concentration. Similarly, 4 tha, di, dum, nam, ta, di, dum, nam, ta, di, dum, nam, ta, di, dum, nam, ta, di, dum, ta, di, dum, ta. எப்படி வருது பாருங்க, டிரான்ஸ்லேட் ஆகுது பாருங்க. 4ங்கிறது அப்படியே குறைஞ்சிட்டே 3ஆவது 2ஆவது 1ஆவது அப்படியே வந்துடுது. ஸோ இந்த ஸ்கில்லை யூ ஷுட் டெவலப் ரைட் at a very early stage. கையில் சொல்லி பார்க்கணும். As I told you, expression is conacol, how you have to tell, and playing you get it in the same form. So you have to be expressive. And one is with the silent mode of the 2 1 2 3 4 4 3 2 1 with full flow, and with the silent mode try practicing it. What you're getting it out, you come and I'll do the review. And I want to see how you are telling it accurately with the silence in between. The music has got silence in between, and you should get that silence beautifully intertwined within Thadi Dumnam. I will review this in the next class. Let us see 2 more Thirukkurals for this week. Malarmisai Yeginan Manadi Seyandar Nilamisai Needu Vaalvar. Let's look at the meaning of this Thirukkural. அன்பர்களின் மனமாகிய மலரில் வீற்றிருக்கும் இறைவனது திருவடிகளை தன் மனத்தால் துதிக்கின்றவர் எக்காலமும் அழிவின்றி வாழ்ந்திருப்பவர். In the devotee's mind, the God is like a flower living all the time. One who can always think about him can live very happily. That's what Thiruvalluvar says. வேண்டுதல் வேண்டாமை இலானடி சேர்ந்தார்க்கு யாண்டும் இடும்பை இல விருப்பும் இல்லாதவராகிய இறைவனின் திருவடிகளை தன் மனத்தால் நினைப்பவர்களுக்கு எந்தவித துன்பமும் ஏற்படாது. God is one embodiment who does not have any likes or dislike. One who always thinks about him will always be happy, and he will not be affected by any ill forces. That's what Thiruvalluvar says. And let's get into further lessons. Now, having learned Tati Domnam, having learned the 2 forms, 3 forms, 4 forms, the ascending and the descending order, and the silence in between, now we are going to get to the next syllable. Let me also introduce you the notation. I'm going to notate Tha as 1, Di as 2, Dhum as 3, Nam as 4. Now I'm going to introduce 2 more syllables today for your learning and experience, which is called Kita. How it gets offshooted from the Di. Let's see. Di you play with 4 fingers. These 4 fingers now you break into 2. One is the little finger, ring finger, and the middle finger together, and the index finger separately. So now it's like a fork. You can play like this 3 fingers and 1 finger. So the Di becomes into same position as Di is key with the 3 fingers, and with the index finger it is Ta. Ki, ta, ki, ta, ki, ta, ki, ta. This is the movement which is very frequent and prevalent and very, very useful sound. And when you get kita nicely, obviously you're going to play well, and that's a good sign that you will be good at percussion. So that's a key every master will look at, whether how the student is getting this kita perfectly. Initially it will be tough because with the index finger it is difficult to play the Nam and also the Ta. You have to give it a lot of force. You might end hitting here, your hands will pain. So you have to be patient and endure to get that sound. Use the right technique. You don't have to hit the instrument. You have to play the instrument with force. When I say with force, it's a technique. When I hit it, it is a sound. I want you to play the technique. The beauty is your hand should get the control like a robo. So wherever you start, when you start with this finger, the reverse, you should end with here. When you do with this finger, end with the key. So you get the control of handling the instrument well. So whenever you want to stop at that point, you can stop. Whenever you want to revoke back your hand finger, you can revoke back. And that should be the alertness. By doing these exercises, you get it at the very early stage. You cannot do it at later days. There are people who try it after 1 or 2 years of learning. That's not required. But when you learn itself, you get that mastery over the fingering techniques. Now, this is Kita, which is Ki is 5 and Ta is 6. So, 5 notations are taught you. Ta, Dhi, Dhum, Nam, Ki, Ta. So, 6 you have learned. Having learned the 5 and 6, now you are getting into the next lesson sequence, which is Tha, Kita. You append for every basic vowel kita along with it. Tha, kita, dhi, kita, dhum, kita, nam, kita, tha. Why am I putting tha? Because that's the end of the phrase. I introduced you 2 notations, kita. You're going to play with the basic 4 notation, which is tha, di, dhum, nam, and let's try doing that. It's like a horse. Tak, taka, tak, taka, tak, taka, tak, taka. You should imagine the horse ride on the sand or on the ground, and you should get that force. You might not get it on the first day. You will have a broken syllabus because kita is new to you and tha you are trying to connect the what you have learned. It will be very difficult initially, but you should get closer to the instrument with these notations and get it to your as close as possible. And let's see how it gets seated when you can either into the thalam, adi thalam. Tha, kitta, dhi, kitta, dum, kitta, nam, kitta, tha, kitta, dhi, kitta, dum, kitta, nam, kitta, ta, kitta, dik, kitta, dum, kitta, nam, kitta, ta, kitta, dik, kitta, dum, kitta, nam, kitta, ta. This is how you should express yourself first. Try to master the first column, try to master the second column, try to master the third column. That is the different speeds. The different speeds, once when you get the expression in your mind, you translate it into the instrument and get it the same force, the same way. Don't tell it very softly, you'll play softly. When you express with firmness, you'll play with the same firmness in the instrument. And that's the technique I want you to follow. And if you don't follow this right technique, your sounding will not be right. Okay? And I want you to get sounded right. After practicing this, I will introduce you also one more thing, which is kitta taka, where ka is nothing but key, which is notation number 8, notation 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7 is ka. Ka is nothing but key. Key and ka are one and the same. I am going to display that in the, as you see the video, you will also see the notation. So, kitta taka, how does it come? When you break the di, this is kitta. Tha is the same, number 1 notation, and ka is nothing but key. So, when you play together, so that's how it comes. So what you're going to do now is learn the 4 notations, ta, di, dum, nam. Then the dhi is broken into 2, kitta. Then you are now getting into a newer phrase, kitta taka. Kitta you know, tha you know, ka is nothing but key. It's the same equivalent, which is notation number 7. So you have learned 7 notations. Using the 7 notations, let's have another phrase inbuilt. Tha, then play the kitta taka. Dhi, play kitta taka. Dhum, kitta taka. Nam, kitta taka. Let's see how it goes. The first is not to show my expertise, it's just to show you that you should reach this level. So when you are playing slowly, don't go to the last, don't go fast. The rule of thumb when you are learning, you should always practice the lower speed. Ensure that you are playing at the right place. Ensure that you are not deviating out of the grammar or the logistics of handling the instrument, fingering techniques. Practice that number of times. That speed will take you to the next speed. That next speed, when you get it on hand, you practice more on that next speed. That will take you to the third speed. Practice more on that speed. That will take you to the next level. There is n number of, you can play like Zakir Hussain on the tabla, or like Thiruvar Bhaktavachalam sir or Umayalapuram Shivaraman sir. They all practiced. All these legends practiced for many hours. So when you start learning, First thing is rule of thumb, the fingering techniques. Rule of thumb, practice the lower speed. Express rule number 3, express yourself without any inhibition. Lot of people don't even open their mouth, they don't talk, they just try to play the instrument. That's very important. If you don't express yourself, you're not going to get it. You're not going to make it high. You'll be able to learn the instrument, but I want you to be expressive from day one. So, having seen tha kitataka, thi kitataka, dum kitataka, nam kitataka, I would like to also introduce one more lesson or exercise for your hand to get familiar with kita and kitataka so that we can go to the next level. So the next lesson would be adding kita to kitataka. Kitta, kitataka, kitta, kitataka. That's the phrase. This kitta, kitataka you're going to append with tha, dhi, dhum, nam. Let's see how it goes. Tha, this last speed is not necessary now for you to get it, but that is the end result which you should get by repeated practice. Pranams. Let's see in the next class. Practice well. To summarize, you learned about 7 notations. Ta, dhi, dum, nam. Dhi broken into kita. Then kitataka, ka is nothing but ki. So 7 notations you have learned. You have learned few lessons, ladder lessons. How to play kita with tha, di, dum, nam. How to play kitataka with tha, di, dum, nam. How to play kita, kitataka with tha, di, dum, nam. And that's an extension you've got. So practice all these well. Express yourself in talam. Tell it, practice, and come for the next class. Hope to see you, and we will have more lessons, interesting lessons in store for you. Thank you. Pranams.